Season premiere. Oh, really? Where are my manners? My amplified unit. Salute. Welcome to the Amped Up Podcast, Tuesday, October 17th, 23. And we have a packed, stacked, jacked show for you today because we're going to be featuring on today's podcast the Monday Night RAW review for the 16th of October, just last night. It was coined the season premiere. New season, same old WWE, right? Because Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon's WWE, looks awfully similar to VKM's WWE. Right? Hunter's WWE looks a lot like Vincent Kennedy's WWE. I mean, last night you saw Nia Jax look directly into the camera and say, from here on out, I'm doing the squashing around here in this division. I thought, first of all, what are you doing back? That's A. B, you've squashed everybody since you've been back. So how could it get even worse for the women's division? Getting squashed by you. But that's what Nia Jax proclaimed on last night's show. Nia Jax took up a couple of segments and backstage said, from here on out, I do the squashing around here. How can you squash this division even more? Looks like we're gonna find out. Also last night, Jinder Mahal strolls into Adam Pearce's office. Jinder Mahal is going to be gracing us with his presence. Now, this is coming from an actual Jinder Mahal supporter. If you follow the channel, you know I like Jinder Mahal. This is not the time to bring him back. He's been off camera for months. You choose the season premiere to bring back a dude that does not look repackaged at all. He comes back with Indashir. Veer somehow finally found his way to Monday Night Raw. The long 2-year detour for Veer. Maybe he met up with Jinder Mahal at a Waffle House and they said, let's all go into Adam Pearce's office together. Indashir, Jinder Mahal is part of this new WWE, but it's the same Jinder that as a fan of Jinder, I could not stand because the audience, the majority, didn't connect with him. And as a Jinder fan, I want the audience to enjoy Jinder Mahal. You're giving us the same Jinder Mahal. They repeat the same thing over and over, and they're actually expecting a different result. It's actually kind of wild. Doesn't matter if it's a Kennedy McMahon or a Levesque McMahon. Nia Jax, Jinder Mahal. What about Aerobics Tozawa? He's no longer a ninja. Vince had him as a ninja. It's a long story if you're new to the product, but Vince McMahon had this guy as a ninja. R-Truth was chasing him around in a garbage can, or he was a Christmas tree. Again, if you just tell somebody fresh to the product, they wouldn't believe you. But now, Paul Levesque McMahon says, no, I don't see you as a ninja. You are an aerobics instructor. Let's slap some tights on you, give you some 2-pound weights, right? You like the Monster, you like the 2-pound weights? No, he doesn't do the 2-pound weights. Monster doesn't do the 2-pound weights. But I'll tell you who does. Ninja Tozawa, Aerobics Tozawa. And he's trying to get into Alpha Academy, or Alpha Academy is recruiting him. I don't know. And I know, BC, it was funny, though. I know, a lot of that's for years. Ninja Tozawa is just trying to make you laugh. He's just trying to put a smile on your face. You know what's wild? I'll tell you what's wild. He's an actual pro wrestler. Pretty good one, too. You wouldn't really care, right? When he's out there in the ring, you don't care because for weeks and months and years now, he's just that comedy guy. Well, I hope he made you laugh last night. I hope the segment was really funny, and I hope we get more Aerobics Tozawa, said no BC ever. Aerobics Tozawa was part of last night's show. This is the new Paul Levesque-driven creative WWE, and he's out there making you laugh a little bit. You need a little bit of laugh on the show, basically. That's where Ninja Aerobics Tozawa comes into play, basically. Gotcha. Judgment Day, huh? Hey, who was walking out the tag title holders last? A little bit of hot potato for you, right? Just 10 days ago. 10 days ago, Cody and Jay were winning tag titles. Why would you take them from Judgment Day? Why would you even do that? That's not a viable team, first of all, that you look at as a team. Those are two singles guys thrown together. And then you have them 10 days later just lose on a Monday Night Raw. Hot potato, Judgment Day, once again with all the championships. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Kennedy McMahon's Raw, not too different from this one. Gunther and Bronson would be the only thing you're going to remember from Monday Night Raw, and that was horrible for Bronson, right? Bronson is a heel, got out-heeled and outworked and beaten by Gunther, and then he remained in the ring like a face would do, trying to get sympathy. Bronson's looking at the crowd like, where did I go wrong? How could you have Bronson in such a moment like that? How could you have him in a vulnerable position like that? Is beyond me. That's like a Big Van Vader defeating Bam Bam Bigelow, both as heels, and Bam Bam is left in the ring trying to get sympathy. How did I lose? You wouldn't see that. It's wild to me. And the best part of Monday Night Raw last night, the absolute greatest part, I say that's the only thing you might remember, Gunther and Bronson, but what you'll remember more than anything, should I just show you? Maybe I just show you. Sometimes you just gotta reach out and touch somebody. Nattie Neidhart and her Booyakas. And let's just say a kid in the front row found himself front and center with those Booyakas. And he just could not let the moment pass. This kid just had to tell Nattie, or show Nattie, the love. This kid reached out and he said, Booyaka! This is the Monday Night Raw review. This is the Amped Up Podcast. I am BC. And this is the part where you grab your beverages, hopefully a nice coffee, iced or nice and hot. I would like a hot one now, but I don't have one right now because I'm cutting this with you guys, and all I have is an ice, but I'll go and double fist the hot coffee when this is over, trust me. And this is where you lock in those earbuds so you can listen to every second of this podcast. And this is where you smash that up, and don't just little boop, don't do a little boop. I want you to smash that up to let me know you're fully amplified. And then you're gonna come on back and we gonna get amplified. This kid was holding her. This kid was grabbing those buns. This kid was slapping those booyagas. This kid was amped last night. Bah. Come on back. Let's talk Monday Night Raw, the season premiere. Because it had all the pyro and the new theme song and the new set. It had all new visuals. It looked like a new seat. No? Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Oh, none of it was changed. It was the same song. It was the same setup, the same theming. It was the same. Come on back. We'll talk about it. Let BC crack this coffee. All right, unit, during that lightning sequence, before we all get ultra amplified, I had to do some side business, so I didn't even get my first swig of this coffee. So, we're going to start from the jump of the show. Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn and the Judgment. Oh, this is another. Wait till you hear this. Let me get a swig. This is another thing last night, right? The new season premiere. Triple H is in full control finally. Ari has stomped out Vince. SmackDown was good, BC. That's how we can tell H is in charge. But Raw was not so good. Yeah, that must have been Vince. It's the residuals, BC. Maybe Vince wrote the show. We're going to see a report that says Vince wrote the show in advance, BC. And then Ari kicked him out. That's what happened, basically. New report. It's not 96%. H now has 95%. Therefore, the extra 1% is where you saw more Vince last night, right? We'll get some crazy report, right? Vince went against the system and changed the show last night. The dirt sheets will run wild with some crazy Vince McMahon story. When are people going to realize they're both in on this together? H has told you he goes to Vince. I don't know who else can tell you but the horse's mouth himself. If H is telling you he goes to Vince, believe him for ideas. And that he gets stuck and he doesn't know how to book Monday Night Raw. Believe him. Let me get this swig, because wait till you hear this, man. Sami Zayn is still doing the same things with the Judgment Day. New season, same episodes. Then is it really a new season? BC's just asking. Oh, that's a good iced coffee from the fine folks at Dunkin' Donuts. If you never had a Dunkin'... Does everybody have a Dunkin' Donuts? Where you guys are in the States, do you have a Dunkin' Donuts in your state? I don't know if every state has one. It started in New England, got big in New York, thankfully. I go to Florida, a lot, things like that, and they have a lot of Dunkins. California, I start to see the Starbucks and other things pop up, a lot of different coffee shops. I know Ohio and things like that is where I start seeing the Tim Hortons. I don't know. The point is, man, Dunkin' Donuts, that's just what I grew up on. So that's really good today. So I'm probably going to be even extra amplified. So yeah, let's start off. And thank you to every single one of my Amplified Unit subscribers, man. We keep building this special thing we created over 5 years ago. And I'm noticing a little milestone coming up, even though we're the little ECW of the community. And we don't push things like that. All I ask you to do for the algorithm is just smash the up. But you guys are rocking out. Channel memberships are up as well. So you guys are really showing that support and love to the channel. So I want you guys to know that it is being chucked right back to you. That love, that appreciation, it's mutual. So I appreciate you guys big time. All right. And what am I doing? Proper swig to all my Amplified Unit. All right. Now, let's start this. Sami Zayn starts the show. He says he's not sure where he goes from here. BC is like WWE doesn't know either. Let's be honest. Sami Zayn says, I don't know where I go from here career-wise. I mean, the last several months, I've just been playing around with the Judgment Day, and it's gotten stale AF. Kevin Owens had enough. He just got switched over to SmackDown, and he didn't even say bye. He just left, and he was excited to go. And here I am, right? So he's playing the poor, I don't know what I do now, role. So he doesn't know, and literally, that's what I have in my notes, because I was thinking that at the time. When he said, I don't know where I go from here. BC's like, well, I'm thinking the same thing, because WWE doesn't know where you go from here. You're probably still going to dance with the Judgment Day. That's what I was thinking, right? Sure enough, guys, Judgment Day hits the ring. Jey Uso saves the day with a steel chair, and then we go to commercial break. 20 minutes of the show at this point. Finito. Done. Ended. 20 minutes of the season premiere. And all we've done is Sami Zayn and the Judgment Day again. Same thing that you get every single week. And remember, I told you guys they just switch out a part here and there. Sometimes it's 6 man, 8 man. Sometimes you throw in, with Kevin and Sami, you'll throw in like a Jey Uso or a Cody Rhodes, sometimes a Sethington. It'll be all of Judgment Day or just 3 of them or 2 of them, and you switch out which members. We were getting the same thing. And you just switch out Kevin and you put in Jey Uso. And that's how we start 20 minutes of this show, guys. This isn't negativity. This isn't being too harsh. I'm reviewing the show. And I don't know what cupcakes and rainbows you think I can pull from this. I cannot pull that shit out of my ass, chocolate chip cookies, and start spreading joy to the world. I can't do it because this didn't give me the opportunity to do such. We started the season premiere of Raw. No theme music that's identifiable. No theme music to Monday Night Raw that's new and badass. The set is the same that it's been. Same set, same visuals, the coloring. It's the same everything. Nothing changes. They put no care and no effort. They just threw the name of season premiere onto the label of Raw last night. And you say, well, it's going to be in the content, BC. It's going to be the creativity. McMahon out, Levesque McMahon in. You're going to see, it's all going to be on the action now, BC. The same shit. This is the exact same thing we do every single week with Sami and the Judgment Day. 20 minutes of the show. And that's the best you got? Just a question. Now, when we come back from break, Zayn and Uso are backstage. They have a little argument, right? Sami's really having a conflicting view of where his career's going, man. Now all of a sudden he doesn't know if he can trust Jay or wants to be attached to Jay. And ever since Jay came back, man, it's just like, what's going on? And then in the same segment, they make up. And they're like, yeetin', yeet, 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 yeetin', yeetin'. They're yeetin'. And I guess that's Usi these days, the yeet. They're hugging, they're shaking hands, they're smiling, they're dancing, they're skipping off into the sunset. Da-da-da-da-da. They're skipping off. So they argue, and then they make up, and I'm thinking, what are we doing on this show, man? 25 minutes gone at that point. 25 minutes to open up your season. Now, I don't need wrestling from the jump, trust me. I don't even need a lot of wrestling on a 2 or even 3 hour show. Pay-per-views, that's different, right? That's the culmination of a lot of storylines. But the shows should be the storylines. Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, you name it. Those are where the story should take place. So I'm fine with 25 minutes of telling a story and no wrestling at all. I'm fine with it. My only caveat to that, the asterisk, is that you give us something entertaining, something we can sink our teeth into that's interesting and intriguing so that maybe, just maybe, we can have a little bit of fun with it. How much fun is this if you're just doing the Judgment Day and Sami? And the only thing Semi knew is Sami and Jay had a little bit of a bickering. 25 minutes of the show. Gone. Can't get that back, you're thinking, right? So then we go into the first match of the night. Again, this is close to the second half an hour of this show. Second of 6 half an hours. And this one is Falls Count Anywhere. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ricochet. The match was good. Lots of action, and you could easily say that excitement-wise, it was more entertaining than Rollins and Nakamura, last man standing at Backlash last Saturday night. You could easily say that this was more entertaining in terms of excitement-wise. I'll just leave it at that word. Excitement-wise, that's where I would be. This one had a little bit more for me. The slow pacing, which is where you would tell your story a bit more and use that psychology, it just wasn't clicking in that second match with Rollins and Nakamura last Saturday. Not sure what it was. So that's the good news here, right? They packed it. And guys, this was only, I believe, 11 minutes, correct? The match was only roughly 11 minutes, give or take a minute. Could be 10, could be 12. I have it pinned at 11 minutes. So they didn't give them like a 25-minute match, so this would be, uber captivating in terms of time. They just did the most with the 11 minutes they were presented. So that shows you don't need to have 25 minutes to put on a good match. Just do your thing. And somehow in that 11 minutes, they were actually selling a lot of what was being dished to them. Nakamura ends up pinning Ricochet after hitting Kinshasa on the outside. First, Ricochet went through a table from the top. I think he got kind of pushed off maybe. Went through a table on the outside. Then once he got up, he was immediately met with Kinshasa. Pinfall, Nakamura pins Ricochet. This was nothing more than a consolation redemption prize for Naka, right? You guys know that. And we've talked about this. When this match was announced last week, we discussed how this is going to be the reason they did Falls Count Anywhere is because they want to kind of redo what happened last Saturday, right? Fight in the crowd, backstage, wherever. But Nakamura ended up losing that match to Rollins, and that was a second straight loss to Rollins. So, this is what you do for the guy that did the deed. He did the job, he put over Rollins again. So, to show him a fair hand, a little bit of redemption, a consolation prize, they call this. You'll have the same exact type of a match, right? That was Last Man Standing. This is Falls Count Anywhere. You're fighting through the crowd. You're backstage. You get to do all the wild things. But this time, you're going to win the match. Of course, it's disguised because it's on a Monday Night Raw, not a premium live event pay-per-view. It's against Ricochet, not the champion Seth Rollins. So that's why we say it's a consolation prize, right? It's the silver medal to what the gold medal that you wanted. That gold medal, you got the silver maybe, or maybe even it was bronze. But this was This was one of those scenarios where you knew from the jump that this was just to give some shine back to Nakamura. I have no problem with this. I don't like Ricochet being fed over to Shinsuke, because a lot of people say, well, BC, the match itself and what Ricochet did, what was it, the shooting star in the crowd off the little entranceway there, the little, what do you call that, the corridor entrance, and he does the little shooting star. Yeah, he did a lot of fun, wild, flippity, dippity, divety things. There's no question, but he does that all the time. It doesn't put his stock over. I don't see more Ricochet shirts in the crowd. I don't see him taking the headlines. That doesn't do much, guys. You can do all the fancy moves you want and all the cool sequences. At the end of the day, man, W's and L's, they stack up. And subconsciously, we remember those. So once again, Ricochet just loses, a resident of Jobberville is what we always said. Looks like he's getting a little bit of a push, and then he's kind of middleman, right? And it's because it's a whole nother conversation. It's a vicious cycle, right? They hear the live events and whatnot, and they hear the reception is not as good as they would hope, so then they can't really book them as strong. But if you don't book them as strong, the reception will never get there. It's like women's wrestling, right? It's doomed to fail from the beginning if you don't present it with enough proper care and effort. And if that's not backing the women's division, then why should the audience care? You have to devote the time to it, the care, the energy, the effort. If you do that and you do it properly, women's wrestling should be on cloud 9 today. There's no reason why people should change the channel or walk away when women's wrestling goes on. It's the same thing with building wrestlers up. You still have to give the audience a reason to care. And it's a vicious cycle because at first, while you're doing the building, the ratings will take a hit. You're going to see a lot of disinterest. And if that keeps up for weeks and months, you're probably not booking them correctly. You're not building them correctly. And that's a vicious cycle that we find WWE in nonstop, don't we? So anyway, Ricochet takes an L here, and Nakamura picks up a W. This is a consolation redemption prize. I don't know what this really does for the stock of Shinsuke. He lost the big one, but on the smaller stage, he won that one against literally and figuratively the smaller dude. Moving on. Odd backstage segment here, man, where Levesque McMahon just put a bunch, speaking of the female division, and this is what I mean about they don't know how to book them. And Paul Levesque McMahon used to be able to do this in NXT, but that was a 1-hour show. He really zoned in on that, and that was stuffed on the WWE network, right? Once it went on the USA network, that's when we started to see Paul Levesque McMahon unravel, right? And you started to see that maybe he's not the creative genius that we all put him on that pedestal for black and gold. They go to 2 hours. They were on the USA network. It got hard until he got beaten and then he was booted from NXT because he just lost it. He unraveled. And this is what you're seeing, whether it's a Kennedy McMahon or a Levesque McMahon. They don't know how to use these females. There's so many of them. They have to spread it out over 3 hours. That should be a good thing. If you have so many, you want more time. They look at it as a bad thing and they just lump them all together. 3 different times last night, they lumped the females together, guys. And this was one of them. Hour number 1, right after the Falls Count Anywhere match. Levesque McMahon just puts a bunch of girls together because he just doesn't know what to do with them. Piper Niven, Chelsea Green. Who else was it? Kaden Carter, Katana Chance. Right? Carter and Chance. Yeah, they were both in there. Tegan Knox, Nikki Cross. They were all in this segment, guys. They were all like hanging out at this electrical equipment box. What are you doing? That doesn't even look natural. You're all just chilling at this. Okay, Piper, Niven, and Chelsea at least walked into it, but that's where all the faces are just kind of hanging out on the electrical box. And it doesn't even look right because Nikki Cross is talking to nobody. She's sitting on a box behind everybody, just looking. I mean, if you're all chilling, you wouldn't notice the freakazoid behind you? Hey, maybe you want to ladies, let's go somewhere else, right? We got a creeper, right? Eavesdropping on everything that we're saying. No. She's their friend, BC. She's just the odd one out. She doesn't talk a lot. Still, you have 6 females in here trying to get to what point? There was no point, guys. That's the point. There's none. There's nothing to get to here. They were just talking about tag matches with who? I don't even know. I can't tell you what it was about. Was this for Chance and Carter to have a tag title match maybe? But Tegan Nox was doing most of the talking, but they're tag team champions. So why would Tegan even, unless her and Nattie are going to go for the titles? Because all this did, guys, once we came back from break, it leads to a singles match between Piper Niven and the breast there is, the breast there was, and the breast there ever will be, Nattie Neidhart. That's all this did, literally. Nattie wasn't even a part of that backstage segment, by the way. She was not a part of that. But Tegan was, and Tegan and Nattie have this weird thing, so maybe they're going to have them go for tag titles. I wouldn't put it past this company to throw these singles competitors together and go, yeah, you guys are going to get them. Makes no sense. Nattie and Tegan? And after they just formed too, they're not even a tag team, but they're just like getting to know each other and like each other. Watch them win tag titles within the next 2 weeks. But the breast there is, the breast there was, and the breast there ever will be. Nattie Neidhart versus Piper Niven. Now, this is where the greatest moment in the entire night happened, guys. And literally the greatest moment in the entire night. It was during Nattie's entrance. And she's coming down to the ring. She's giving these glasses out, right? It's kind of like Uncle Brett used to do, Bret Hart, her uncle. And he used to give out his glasses. It was a big thing, especially if you were the fan getting them. So she's got her glasses. She reaches over this little kid, this little boy that's in the front row, and right behind him, or maybe to the side, but she's behind him at the time. She's reaching out, so she must be second seat in. Because the way the aisles are set up, it's not really rows where you're facing this way, so you're seated next to each. So she was next to the kid. Maybe it's brother or sister, but she's reaching over the little kid to get to the girl to give her the glasses. Now, this kid, man, if we can put this in post-edit, it would be amazing. This kid was literally hugging Nattie. I mean, like holding Nattie to where his face was pretty much near the Booyaka area, man. I was like, okay. He's a blessed kid today. Props to that mofo, man. Nattie at this point is over the barricade, and this kid's like, well, mom and dad did pay for the seat. So it's a little bit of a hug, right? At that point, you're thinking, hey, no harm, no foul. He's hugging Nattie, right? It's this little kid hugging one of his favorite superstars who happens to be in his little zone. Okay. So then he puts his arms down, and literally his hands are like resting on her like hip ass area, like right on her ass. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is getting to like the groping stages, brah. Like this kid, I think we're pushing the limit just a little bit. We're pushing the limit a little bit, right? Now his hands are resting on the ass area. So BC, again, I'm not player hating. I'm like, this is Nattie, man. Easily one of the most sexiest females you're ever going to get in the world of wrestling or the world, period. I mean, her and her sister Jenny, if there was ever a twosome that you just like, you just freeze. Because I don't know if you know, her and her sister, they do a lot of like fun things together. I'll just leave it at that. Just together in bathing suits. They're wild. They're fun. They're sexy. And Nattie just has some of the best booyakas in the business. So I'm not player hating at this point. Trust me. I'm just thinking, whoa, he is going at it, man. So then she goes to turn. She goes to walk away. The girl's got the glasses. And the kid reaches out and just grabs himself a handful of the breast there is, the breast there was, and the breast there ever will be. A handful of the booyakas. A handful of, yeah. He reached out. And he just fucking just slid that shit right across the top of that right booyaka of Nattie Neidhart. Brah, dude, that popped BC. Come on, man. I think I had to like guzzle half a coffee just to stop from laughing. I mean, that was a straight, we overused the phrase LOL, laugh out loud, or laugh my ass off. Literally, I was laughing my ass off. I thought that was the greatest thing, first of all. And I don't advocate for that, by the way. Even if they're in your area a little bit because they're giving you something, that doesn't give you the right to start groping and touching and things like that. I don't advocate for it. But if you didn't watch the show, it is a little kid. And again, I'm not saying it's right, but it's a little kid who I don't think had any malice behind the thought process. It was just somebody who it's a wrestler. He really enjoys, obviously, really enjoys. And she was right there and spending time there and in his area, and he just was hugging. And I don't think he meant to necessarily go for it all, but he went for it all, or at least he got it all. Anyway, this was the greatest moment last night. Literally, this just made it, man. It's those moments, and Nattie of all, and Nattie is so fucking awesome. Nattie just was smiling afterwards. Nattie was just like, typical day in my life. These boys trying to grab my booyakas. Anyway, to Nattie, man, such a consummate professional. She probably laughed it off. It's a kid. I don't think there was any intention behind it. It was just a funny moment. I'm sure the kid was talked to by the parents or maybe even WWE security. But salute to Nattie. And hey, to the kid, I ain't even player hating, man. I'm sure that was a soft situation. I'm sure that's going to keep you, that's going to keep the memory bank sparked for a long time to come, man. You got to hold a lot of Nattie in your arms, man. Salute. Nattie Neidhart, man. Oh, that was too funny. In all seriousness, salute to Nattie. And if you got them, you might as well show them, right? And that's what she does. She's a beautiful girl with a lot of beautiful assets. Salute. Oh, was there a match? Oh, there was a match, wasn't there? Well, this was only 2 minutes. I mean, that's all the love for Nattie. Now, on the flip side, Nattie doesn't really last long in these matches usually. 2 minutes, and Piper Niven defeats Nattie. So, what else is in my notes? That's it, really. I can't even say the heels beat up Nattie afterwards, because Chelsea was like in a dress, wasn't she? So maybe Piper put the boots on, maybe Chelsea tried to do something, and then Tegan Knox just steam barrels to the ring. Steam barrels. Tegan Knox skyrockets to the ring, and the heels retreat. So that's why I say, I don't know if this is leading to like a Tegan Knox, Nattie Neidhart. It looks like they're going to form a tag team to go for Chelsea and Piper's championships. Then why do you have Isla Dawn and Alba Fire like come over, get drafted, have a match just to give up their championships to unify them, and then they're in catering, one's injured so the other one's out too, then they're ready to come back and you have nothing for them so that you stuff them in dark matches, and they're losing those too, by the way. So that's not a good sign when they come back. But more than that, it's just Carter and Chance, when they debuted on the main roster, man, it was actually it was a good debut. I mean, they had some good matches, and they started to be the talk of the town a little bit. And what they did because of that is they stuffed them down. They put them at catering and left them off the shows. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? They just had good, they did good for you. But because it wasn't in their wheelhouse, they ruined the momentum of Carter and Chance. But what I'm saying is you have tag teams, man, that are ready to rock and really be title holders and really have a division worked around them. But when you do weird things, like you just stuff Rhea Ripley, or no, I'm sorry, who was it? Raquel Rodriguez with Shotzi, or Raquel and Liv Morgan, or in this case, Tegan Knox with Nattie Neidhart, Sonya Deville with Chelsea Green. Wasn't that the first one before Piper Niven and Chelsea Green? I mean, the tag title holders now is just singles people thrown together. Once in a while, it works, right? Ted DiBiase, IRS, Money Incorporated. It worked. Tugboat, an earthquake, the natural disasters. It worked. Once in a blue moon, you can do it. Don't do it all the time. Tegan and Nattie winning tag titles. What is that doing for a division that is already non-existent? Anyway, that is how we end our number one. Tegan Knox saves the day for Nattie. So just a rough night for Nattie because she loses in 2 minutes and then she has to be saved by a Tegan. I guess the highlight would be she got some lovin'. Sethington, Rollins, and Drew McIntyre start hour number 2. This was a face-to-face promo, middle of the ring. Drew had the best quote of the night easily. While Drew was staring at Sethington, Drew says, and I quote, I have a catchy theme song that I could bring back too, but I don't need that crutch. Think about that, man. He has more to say, and I'll say it in a second. But the first part of this quote, it's so true. I have a catchy theme song too that I could bring back. But, you know, his old theme that we all used to sing to, it was a great theme. Oh, one of the best themes, man. And he says, I could bring that back too. It's catchy. They can sing along, but I don't need that as a crutch. Guys, that's a direct diss because before Sethington had this new theme music, the Disney sing-along, whatever it is, guys, he was stale AF. Nobody cared about Sethington. He had the U.S. title. He was engulfed in this Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, weird 3-thing matchup concept, whatever it was. Nobody cared. Every week it was Sethington, Bobby, and Theory in some weird 3-person formula. U.S. champion, they tried to use that as if it was the heavyweight champion that Roman had. So they made it look like the U.S. title. That's just as important as the world title. See, it's being defended every Monday night in the main event. No, that's not. Come on, bro. Nobody was being fooled. And that's why a lot of people know that you're just trying to fool your audience with the new championship. Sethington, that didn't work. So they created a new world title and put it on Sethington to try to make you go, see, that's the real world title. Don't worry about what Rowan's doing on vacation or on his private island or with a martini and a margarita. Now he's a world. You didn't want the U.S. title on him. You felt like you were being fooled. So we made a new title, a world title. You're still fooling your audience. Nobody cares. Nobody. But he went and got a catchy theme, right? Him and Becky, they share everything. Their closet together, clearly. I mean, Seth wears more of Becky's clothing than fucking Becky wears. But, I mean that, hey, salute, man, to each their own. But they share everything, so I'm sure they were on the sofa one day, and they were talking about, like, what can I do to get the audience more interested? Yeah, and Becky's like, well, when I come out, they go, whoa, or whatever. No, that was Cody. What the fuck is Becky's? Oh, something like that, right? So that's Becky. So Seth's like, that's what I need, man. They used to love when they did the Bobby Roode. Glorious! Oh! Cody Rhodes. They used to love that stuff when Shinsuke would come out, right? We just talked about Shinsuke not long ago. Shinsuke would come out. Oh! No, that's Seth, right? What the fuck was Shinsuke's? Almost like that, isn't it? I don't know. Now I'm getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle to do. Oh. No, that's the Jungle Boy. What the fuck are we doing? Wizard of Oz. Oh. And then Jungle Boy is I don't even know. What the fuck was the Turtles? Oh. No, that's the New Kids on the Block. The right stuff. The point is, we're getting off base here, all right? All these little freaking catchy themes. So he says, I need what you have. And he says, okay, I'm going to get a catchy theme. And then that's when everybody, because, wrestling audience, a lot of the one, and this is no disrespect, it really isn't. I know when people say no disrespect, it's usually a little bit of disrespect. But, this is one of those scenarios where the crowds that go to a lot of these Raws and SmackDowns, there's a lot of casuals that just, wrestling's in town, yeah, let me go, or the families, or the people that just want a night out, right? And they're just like, I don't even care if the show is good or not. I'm going to cheer, and I'm just going to try to have a good time. Have a brewski and a hot dog, and have some laughs. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But that's what really fills these arenas, right? I mean, that's why you get, this is awesome, 60 seconds into a match. Come on. So a lot of these arenas, they're not filled with really like the tried and trues or the diehards or, people that know what's actually good and not good. Not what you like and don't like. That's your prerogative. You can cheer for whatever you want, not like whatever you want. But what's really good and bad, like for the wrestler, for the show, for the segment, what's going forward, right? We know what's good and bad. But the fans that fill these arenas, they're just down for anything. So when you get a catchy song, oh, bro, palm of your hand. So Sethington was stale AF. He gets a catchy song. All of a sudden, we're talking about this dude like he's one of the faces of the company again. He went from literally staleness, mediocrity, Bobby Lashley in theory US title matches, to creating a championship for him and creating a catchy theme. He needed all the smoke and mirrors, and that's not shade, but the more I keep speaking about it, if you think about it, they had to manufacture a response for Sethington, and that's sad, because Seth can go in the ring, but it's sad when you see all of the bells and whistles that they had to put for this guy. They had to create a world title. They had to give him a catchy theme song. He's main eventing pay-per-views because Roman won't show up to work, and they're stale endings. They're piss-poor endings. He's just beating Shinsuke 2 months in a row at the pay-per-views. How that's exciting for anybody, I have no idea. It's the same thing as him defending the U.S. Championship a year ago to end Monday Night Raw. It's like, oh, okay. It's Seth. So, guys, it's one thing if BC's just bringing this up to you guys, but when Drew McIntyre says it live on the air, there's substance to it, I could bring back a catchy theme, too, but I don't need that as a crutch. He called it a crutch, and it was just so true, though, because BC always tells you guys that. And then Drew wasn't done. He kept going. He says, but I don't need that as a crutch. When I beat you and take your title at Crown Jewel, you'll be left trying to reinvent yourself for the 53rd time. Damn! Drew showed up smashing truth bombs on mofos, bro. He's shooting off truth bombs like Mario. Remember Mario? You would get the flower power and you got to shoot the little flower fucking fireballs, whatever it was. And you could take out all the little mushroom people. This dude came out and he's just firing off truth bombs. And Sethington's trying to dodge them. When I win that title, you'll be left trying to reinvent yourself for the 53rd time. Damn! Because it's so true. How many different times does Sethington try to reinvent? Now, the plus side is that he cares. That's why I like Seth. He's relentless in his pursuit to be better. Not wrestling-wise. He's already one of the best. Sequence for sequence, move for move. That's no question. But everything else and really making the audience care. He tries, and that's why I love Seth Rollins' work ethic. He doesn't stop thinking. He is on the sofa with Becky thinking, hey, my theme music maybe, right? So I commend that for sure, not condemn it. And I think that's awesome. But the fact that he's done it so many times and there's just not that connection with everybody. You take away the theme song. Man, it's rough. So I don't know. Shield Seth was the best. It makes you think, is he not face of the company material? Is he kind of silver, bronze medal of a group type figure in the company, right? Is he a second or third type guy and that's just what he's destined to be? I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe he's not face of the company material. But Drew McIntyre, man, talking about how he uses the theme song as a crutch to get a response, talking about how he has reinvented himself 52 times, and it's about to be a 53rd, because this ain't working clearly, is what Drew's telling him. And once I take the title, what else do you got but your theme music? Other than that, this was just, them just, they don't really have any. They're just it's two faces. They decided not to turn Drew heel at all, just a slight attitude, and even that's kind of gone lately. For a couple weeks, he was just not helping people, and it looked like, he's going to be a straight tweener. Now he's just like a face. Backstage, he's telling Sami he respects him and he just wants to tell him that. But he also doesn't know why he trusts Jay so easily. So somehow that led into a Sami-Drew McIntyre match for next week. But I mean, we're just seeing straight up face Drew again. So it's a face Rollins versus a face Drew. You can't do much. I thought they were going to throw them together in a tag team. Can they coexist last night? But wait, that'll be next week on Raw. That Drew and Sami match will somehow turn into like a tag match. How many Raws are left before Crown Jewel? 2. Okay, because that's the 4th of November, 23rd Raw, and then the 30th. So if it's not next week, because Drew does have that one-on-one match with Sami, by the 30th, Halloween Eve, you'll get these two in a tag team. They'll coexist or not coexist. So you can't really do much storyline-wise with them. They're both faces. So all you can really do if they're going to have a face-to-face promo is try to dig a little deep, and Drew did that. Seth? Drew was dropping the truth bombs. Seth was dropping like truth pellets. Like you drop a truth pellet, but people are walking over it, stomping on them, so they're getting lost and then turned into dust. Drew McIntyre definitely won that little face-off promo to start hour number 2. We go into Ludwig Keiser defeating Johnny Gargano via pinfall. That's it. That's all I have in my notes. There's nothing else. That's all it was, guys. It was a match. Johnny Gargano just came back last week or 2 weeks ago. One of the two. I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, because last week they got jumped backstage by Imperium. So Johnny just came back. Months off. Months. First of all, he debuts, and it was a failure. Didn't connect. Nothing happened. Okay. Took time off. HHH wanted to bring him back, right? And he did, right? This was Paul Levesque McMahon's DIY revival. No pun intended to FTR. But, and here we are just 14 days later, and L. Awesome. Way to tell your casual fans why they should look at this guy as a winner. Basically, slight interference and distractions and cheatery. No, he lost. Doesn't matter. This was 5 minutes, if even. Johnny Gargano. Anyway, Giovanni did help. Backstage, Gunther was pissed, but Giovanni's like, I helped him win the match. Gunther's not happy with it, man. Gunther's on a whole nother level right now. We'll get to that. What is that? Was that next? Oh, that was coming up. Hold on. Well, first of all, as I told you guys, so that was that match. Ludwig defeats Johnny Gargano. Then we go into what I was telling you guys earlier, how Paul Levesque McMahon is just lumping all the females together in awkward segments, right? So earlier in the night, you had Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Chance, Carter, Nikki Cross, Tegan Knox, all chilling at an electrical box. Bickering like a bunch of high school girls in the bathroom, all trying to smoke cigarettes and yelling at one another. That's the segment they had earlier in the night. Then they had Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler in hour 2. This was non-title. Before the match, Rhea grabs the mic, by the way, and says, "This is my division, and mommy will always be on top." That popped BC. Mommy will always be on top. Come on, that's kind of funny. Anyway, the match itself, exactly what we called on last night's Raw preview live stream. Much love and respect to everybody that caught that live stream on a half an hour of notice last night. But we talked about it, how this is only going to set up, this match is going to end just setting up a weird fatal 4-way match for Crown Jewel, most likely. And that's exactly what happened, guys, because Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, and Zoe Stark all hit the ring, and the match was basically thrown out. I don't know if somebody got DQ'd or it was a total throwout. But Raquel, Nia, and Zoe were all out there to make this a straight-up schmaz. So we were kind of wrong. It's not a 4-person schmaz match for Crown Jewel or for the title. It's a 5-way. They added even more. It'll probably end up 6 or 7 ladies by the time it's over. 5 women going for Rhea's championship. Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and champion Rhea, all in one match for that title. Sound familiar? Earlier in the night, you had like 6 or 7 females around that electrical equipment box, all on a segment, bickering. You can't hear one over the other. You don't know what it all is for. And then later in the second hour, You have 5 other ladies all hovering around the title picture and the champion. 5. 6 in the earlier segment, 5 here. And then, guys, throughout the night, Becky Lynch is bumping into a bunch of individuals that are looking at her NXT women's title. She bumps into Rhea, the actual champion. She bumps into Jade Cargill, planting a little bit of seed there. She bumps into Xia Li. Finally, Xia Li was on TV. Xia Li is one of the greatest female wrestlers there is on the planet. The most believable for sure. And she gets to be on camera last night. And Becky's all fucking got the chest out and the championship. You want the title shot with the man? And Xia's like, yeah, on my time or something like that and walks off. But why is all these females all of a sudden want the NXT developmental championship? Have you noticed that? Remember a couple weeks ago? Michael Cole was like, it was Tegan versus Nattie. And they're like, these women are trying to earn their shot at the NXT women's title. And I'm like, first of all, Michael Cole, the week before that, Nattie already had an NXT title match and lost. Now all of a sudden she really needs it that badly? Tegan just came back and she really wants the NXT developmental championship? Xia Li, Jade Cargill, even the champion Rhea, they all are looking at Becky now like, whoa. You got the NXT women's title, man. This is huge. We need that. That's like going to the Olympics and going for the bronze medal. You already have the silver and the gold medal out there. You guys decide which is which. There's 2 main roster female world champions. You can decide which one is more important, Rhea Ripley or Io. But for everybody to seem like it's NXT developmental championship, Becky's title, that's the one they want. That's like going for the bronze medal, not trying for the gold or even the silver. I want the bronze. Where's Lacey? She's got the gold time. Her time is currently in the gold, so I have to get less than that, and I can get the bronze, right? What do you mean Susie's got the silver? So I got to get less than Susie too? All right, I'll do it, right? And you phone it in, and you go slower, and you find out you got the bronze. Yay, you got the developmental NXT championship. Meanwhile, fucking Susie's over there with the silver, and Lacey's over there with the gold. I tell you, man, so hilarious that the NXT championship is no longer in NXT. What an ironic situation. And everybody is treating it like a main championship on the main roster, getting more love and appreciation than the actual championship. But that's what I mean. Paul Levesque McMahon has not grasped the women on the main roster yet. And this was one of his strong suits in NXT. But again, that's when it was 1 hour, black and gold, tucked on the network. You know, once it started going to USA, you started to see it unravel with HHH. And on the main roster, dude's completely clueless with the females. Completely clueless. 3 big segments for the ladies last night, and they were all just like bulked. With Becky's, it was scattered bulk, right? She's just bumping into every female and they're planting like forget planting seeds for a match. They're planting a whole garden. They're planting a forest for down the line. Long-term storytelling, basically. You can't just come across every female with a developmental title. Anyway, that was just funny to BC, but it's just odd how they're utilizing the females still, and Paul Levesque McMahon just has to pull his head out of his ass and find a way, work with a team of people, do something. But these females, they have to be utilized much better. Hour number 3, Gunther versus Bronson Reed. Bronson, that's right. I said T after the bronze. Bronson, because I like this. That's his name now. Bronson. Medium-sized Bronson Reed. Gunther versus Bronson for the IC title held by Gunther. This was a 12-minute match. Gunther hits the Gunther bomb for the pinfall victory. Yeah. That was great. If you guys caught the live stream last night, the preview for Raw, again, thank you to everybody that caught it, live or after the fact. A lot of you guys caught it when it was just posted up on the channel. But we talked about, I asked you guys, I went to the chat and I said, does he do the Gunther bomb? Can he do it, right? Because you got to believe it's going to be late in the match. They're both going to be winded because they're bigger dudes. Bronson was winded after 3 minutes, by the way. Bronson was rough, man. He was rough. He was winded after 3 minutes. So you get to the 12-minute mark, and he's got to take a Gunther bomb. Well, a lot of that is him fucking springboarding into it. And he was able to do that. Gunther did almost look flawlessly, fluently, easy almost. Looked like he could have done 3. It could have been like a Wardlow situation where he delivers 3, 4, 5, 6 Wardlow bombs. I mean, that Gunther bomb, up, down, drop, 1, 2, 3, you're done. You ain't getting up from a Gunther bomb, especially the medium size of Bronson. But the match, it was fun. I mean, the commercial break right in the middle of it just, oh man, it took a lot of momentum out. And that was like a 3.5 minute commercial, something like that. When they came back, they were already in the middle of the chop fest, so we missed half of the chops. And we knew that was going to be a bulk of it. Crowd was still sitting at the time going, oh, when they do the chops. And you really don't know who to cheer for, so you can't blame the crowd because it's heel versus heel. And this is why I say, well, you can take a step back and say it's going to be a good match because it's Gunther and Bronson. But you got to believe that, especially the crowd in attendance, which we talked about who that usually is, you got to believe that they're just lost. They don't really know who to... I mean, Bronson is supposed to be the bad guy. We don't necessarily like it, and we don't even have a reason to care about Bronson, right? They don't. Gunther's the bad guy. We have a reason not to like him, but we know he is definitely the bad guy. So it's like, what do we... And a lot of fans don't even know if it's okay to cheer, the younger fans or what. They're like, they're both bad, ma. Dad's like, you can pick one. It's like racing, right? You got 43 cars out there. You probably don't know any of them, but pick a number and hope that they win the race. That's how I used to go to races with my uncle before I got really into NASCAR, when it was good. NASCAR has just gone off the rails, unfortunately. But when I first started, I didn't know the drivers like my uncle knew them. So I went and I picked a car. I picked a dude. His name was Reggie Ruggiero. It was a modified racing. And he was putting everyone in the wall. It was basically what Dale Earnhardt Sr. was to the NASCAR Cup Series, and he would put people in the wall. He would move you out of the way if you didn't want to move or you were too slow. Reggie was booed by all the crowd, guys. Reggie Ruggiero was his name. His number at the time was 44. And every time, I was just a little kid going with my uncle, who was huge into the modified racing. And every time I would go, the whole crowd would boo this guy from the introductions to the whole race. But he ended up winning almost every single week. And it wasn't the cleanest. He would put you in the wall, he would move you, he would spin you out. It wasn't the cleanest driving. And when he got out of that car to accept that trophy, the boos were so damn loud. And it didn't take long. I think after just the first week, I looked at my uncle and I said, that's my guy, Reggie Ruggiero. So it's almost like that, right? Just pick somebody. Well, in pro wrestling, it's a little more difficult because you do have to care. And this company hasn't done anything to make you care about Bronson yet. Bronson's 50-50 booked. Bronson has not had a real story. Was it JR9 Gaming just last night on the live stream that said Bronson desperately needs a storyline? I think that was the verbatim from JR9. My bad if it wasn't, but I believe it was verbatim. That's exactly what he needs, because that's the only way you're going to get a level of care. Bare minimum to great level of care. But at which side of the spectrum, you just got to start on that spectrum. So you're watching, so that's my problem with heel versus heel matches, or even face versus face, is that unfortunately one face is going to outface the other face. Heel versus heel, one heel is going to out-heel the other heel. And it's going to make the heel that lost look like an absolute bozo, a geek. And literally, you can go back and watch yourself, guys. Bronson was left in the ring, like on his knee, looking at the crowd like, whoa, what happened? I got totally whomped. And the camera laid on him, like just stayed on him, man. Like it was a sentimental moment, like feel bad for Bronson. He gave it such a great effort. That's what you do for faces. BC, maybe they're going to make him a face. This was the beginning of turning him. He didn't even make it as a heel yet. You already got him turning into a face? Well, because it didn't work as a heel, BC. That's why they're turning him into a face. They're going to try something new. Guys, that's the problem. They didn't even try with him as a heel. We have not seen a valid story yet with him. Anything of meaning anyway, or value that you can cling on to. That's why I felt this match, aside from us going, it's going to be good because it'll be physical. Aside from that, there was more harm to this than help. And if you're Bronson Reed, I don't know what this really did for him other than hurt him even more, dig his own hole even deeper. But when you're looking at the 3 hours as a whole, it's probably one of the only matches you're going to truly remember from last night. Honestly, one of the only, aside from Nattie Neidhart's fucking Booyakas being compromised, that's probably the only thing you'll truly remember in about a week or 2 weeks, you know, that these behemoths maybe faced off. I guess. Maybe you already forgot about the match. I'm pumping it up like it was bigger than it was. It was just a regular match. With a Gunther bomb to end it. But that's how you started hour 3. Gunther bomb. He actually got him up there, man. He delivered that Gunther bomb pretty badass. Backstage, Jinder Mahal enters Pierce's office, guys. Jinder Mahal. Now, I'm a Jinder Mahal fan. I know that's not a popular take or a popular thing to say, right? I like Jinder Mahal. I know I'm in the minority, and that's fine. But if you notice, I don't, in every podcast or every other, or let's put it this way, rarely ever do you hear me even talk about Jinder Mahal, because I know there's no connection with the majority of the audience. And that's how you know how fair BC is. I just don't push the people I like or give them all the accolades. No, it's the opposite. If I like you, I'm going to be even more truthful to the point where Jinder Mahal needs something to be done that's going to connect. That's going to make people care about him. They don't have to cheer or boo, but at least go, oh, Jinder's going in Pierce's office. Let's see what he's got to say. Instead, a lot of the audience sees Jinder go into the office and they all roll their eyes back. Oh no, Jinder Mahal's back. Didn't we just hear the report that H has full control of Raw and SmackDown? We just heard that Ari has completely removed Vincent Kennedy. Why? After we just saw Jax. Why is Jinder here, right? That's what people are doing, and that's sad. I do see value in Jinder, and it's sad that everyone else doesn't, but I don't blame everybody for not seeing it because this company has not done the right things to do such. Slapping a world title on him to help ticket sales and interest in India is not going to help all of the fans elsewhere. This, as much as I'm a Jinder Mahal supporter, this was the wrong time to bring him back. After all this time off and on the season premiere, the night that you're showing everybody that this is true change, here's Jinder. And Indashir is right there with him, by the way. I mean, it is the same Jinder we've seen for the longest. And we're just going to recycle it. And then we see Nia Jax immediately after. Nia Jax cuts off the Miz. Miz is going off on somebody. I don't even know. Put respect on my name. The same old shtick. So Miz is yapping away. This is what I mean, right? Season premiere. Paul Levesque's Raw. And I'm just seeing the Miz yap away like we've seen for weeks and months and years. Nia Jax cuts him off, looks at the camera and says, from here on out, it's my division, and I'm the one doing the squashing. You've been doing the squash. You're going to do even more squashing? So we see the Miz yapping. You got Nia Jax yapping. You got Jinder Mahal back yapping with Pierce. And then we do a funny comedy segment, right? Funny to others. I don't know. But BC is just mortified by this. Alpha Academy is working out. They're doing aerobics. And they have Ninja Tozawa, who is now Aerobics Tozawa. And he's got this tight, like a female workout suit, right? I guess it's a female, right? I mean, you never see a dude in that. Like I go to a lot of gyms, obviously, and that's not something that I see often, right? His little outfit. And he's got these 2-pound weights, right? Monster has never seen Monster, have you seen? Monster's never seen 2-pound weights. So he's doing these little 2-pound, and he's doing this little thing where he's all into it, right? And I'm sure everybody's laughing, right? Because he's a comedy act, man. He's there to make you smile. And the New Day come in. Now, at least the New Day wasn't mixing up with I don't know what happened with the Viking Raiders. Maybe their ship got lost at sea. I don't know what happened. Maybe they got taken out by Noah's Ark. I don't know. But the Vikings were not on this show to my knowledge. So the New Day had nothing. They were probably searching for Vikings all night, and they came across Aerobics Tozawa. So they're like, what the heck is this dude doing? And if you guys got some extracurricular activity, we want to know about it. We want some. So somehow they all start gyrating together, man. They all start like moving their hips. They're all dancing. Tozawa's over there doing his aerobics with his 2-pound weights. New Day and the Alpha Academy is like dancing together. And I'm thinking, wow. Whoa. Paul Levesque McMahon was honest. He said, I have trouble a lot writing these shows, and you'd be stupid not to go to Vince. I go to Vince for ideas, and when I'm lost, I ask Vince for advice. And this was clearly one of those situations where either Paul Levesque McMahon came up with this himself, or he literally went to Vince and said, listen, I don't know what to do with New Day anymore. I did all the weeks I could with the Viking Raiders. The fans are literally revolting. Alpha Academy, I did the Chad Gable singles thing with Gunther. It's over. Gunther beat him a couple of times. And I got this fucking ninja that I don't know what to do with. Oh, okay, come here, you doofus son-in-law. Let's talk. And I think the two had a nice filet mignon fucking dinner with some nice fine wine, and this is what they came up with. This is Nia Jax, Jinder Mahal, Aerobics Tozawa, gyrating, dancing, Alpha Academy and New Day. This was all like within just a few minutes. And this was the third hour. At this point, we're exhausted from this show like we always are. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? How is this a season premiere? Where are all those cute stories that Vince is 100, was it 90-something%? Basically, this is the 4%. This was the 4 minutes they gave Vince. PC, you just said it was all kind of bundled together. The worst part of the show was bundled together. That was Vince's 4 minutes that he was allowed. You'll start to see articles like that, right? Well, remember, we did say there was a 0.4% that Triple H doesn't have control over. All right, well, what about the other part of the show? The first half an hour of the show where Sami Zayn is still going at it with the fucking Judgment Day. Or the end of the night, the last half an hour, when it's just Judgment Day going for tag titles again. Same thing, every week, every month. What about all the fucking female weird angles? 5 people going for a championship, or 4 going for the championship. 6 ladies in the back, all yapping over one another to try to get the fucking Piper Niven's tag title. Becky's coming across everybody because he's got nothing for anybody. What about the rest of the show? We gonna act like it was amazing? We're putting on a pedal. What was it? Ludwig Keiser defeating Johnny Gargano in less than 5 minutes? Well, yeah. Come on, man. We're not going to sugarcoat, guys. It's a real review on this channel. We have fun with it. It's just pro wrestling, right? I mean, we're not really getting angry at it. Nobody after when this is done recording or you guys are done listening to this, you're not going into a Starbucks pissed off because of pro wrestling, power bombing baristas through the table. I said extra vanilla. Powerbomb the barista, the cops are called. Man, why did you do that, man? All because he didn't put extra vanilla in the coffee? In the latte? No, it's because Raw sucked last night and I was already upset. But you gotta be honest with the show, you know? The show is just, Monday Night Raw is just in the trash. SmackDown was decent this week. And because of the reports with HHH and Vince, and then SmackDown was decent, everyone's like, oh, this is how it's going to be from now on. No, it's not. That was a season premiere stack. You had Jonathan Cena, the return of Roman Reigns, a Bloodline segment every other on that show. You had a lot, man. LA Knight, yeah. Man, you were bulked. Cody Rhodes is on that show. Jason Uso. That show was packed, stacked, and jacked. And then we go into the main event, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Balor and Priest of Judgment Day for the tag titles. This is a rematch from just last Saturday night when Cody and Jey won the titles. And Jimmy Uso would interfere, you know, Jimmy from SmackDown, because, you know, brand split, because, you know, it's Paul Levesque McMahon's show now. He's got the creative notebook, and he also doesn't follow the brand split. He doesn't even give you reasons either. Commentary doesn't mention it. Nobody mentions why Jimmy is just there. Security doesn't want to take him out. Shows up, super kicks Jay, and then Jay receives a coup de grace from Balor. Balor gets the pin over Jey Uso, and new tag team champions. What was the point of Backlash 10 nights ago is what I would ask. What was the whole point of it? To pop a headline? Have we really gotten that sad? That to pop a headline, you're just going to have a hot potato title reign. Can't even call it transition. It just went right back to the original title holders. So to pop a headline and pop a rating, they sat there in the meeting before Backlash, and they said, well, was it Backlash or why do I keep saying Backlash? Was it Fastlane? Fastlane, guys. I keep saying Backlash. Fastlane was last Saturday. I think I've been saying that the entire podcast. Fastlane. Don't know why I was saying. I don't know. All these are stupid names. Backlash. Fastlane. What's the other one? Vengeance. I don't know. These are all stupid, man. Fastlane. There you go. So, what was my point? Oh, yeah. What was the point? Fastlane. What was it all for? Before Fastlane took the airwaves, they had a meeting and they said, what if we change the titles over to Cody and Jay, and then on the season premiere of Raw, it'll go right back. No harm, no foul. Judgment Day keeps all the gold. And they're like, yeah, man, transition. No, not transition. It's just hot potato. Let's put a little hot potato, man. Nobody will notice. Nobody will care. It'll be fun for everybody if we just keep changing the titles. It devalues the Judgment Day's reign. You guys know that. They already lost them. Now they have them back again. Now, the first title reign didn't go anywhere for Judgment Day. Right, the Judgment Day had the titles for the longest time, and they just had one match after the other with Sami and KO. Stale, redundancy, those are terms that are used generously because it was worse than that. The one silver lining with Cody and Jay winning the tag titles is at least the Judgment Day doesn't have them. So then 10 nights later, they get it right back. And then what does it do? It's just going to have Cody and Jay have another match for them, guys. They'll have another match for him. Or maybe they're going to put Drew with Sami, and they'll be the next title holders. Don't put it past this company, right? KO just left Sami. Matt Riddle just got fired on Drew. They had nothing for them anyway. Watch Sami and Drew, who are having a match next week against one another. And Drew just said how much he respects Sami Zayn, and Sami respects Drew. Watch them form a tag team. Sami will be Drew's new Matt Riddle, and Drew will be Sami Zayn's new KO. Maybe that's what all this is going to do. I don't like Cody and Jay being the champions anyway. They never should have won the championships. Maybe that's them just correcting their wrong. Possibly. But what I do know is this was laughable. And I'm pretty sure most of us would agree that when Raw's season premiere went off the airwaves last night and the Judgment Day had all the pyro and all the titles, you were thinking, what was the point of Fastlane? It was all for nothing. After 3 hours last night, where are we with any storyline progression? We're nowhere. Sami is still having beef with Judgment Day. Judgment Day still has all the gold. Cody and Jay are like, man, this is going to go on till let me check my watch. The end of time? Nothing advanced. Nothing felt like a season premiere. Change the set a little bit, man. Let's have something that feels new. Nothing. Season premiere, same old show. New season, same WWE show. So, that's what I got for you, man. That's how the show actually went off the air. Thank goodness Paul Levesque McMahon has the creative book now. Nearly fully. Thank goodness this is a Paul Levesque McMahon show. If only I could say it was better. Guys, big salute to every single one of you guys, man. I appreciate you big time, and we will do this until next time. There will be a next time. Maybe tomorrow there'll be a bonus podcast, but it's looking like Thursday more than likely. Obviously, subscribe, notify, do all the things down below. You'll be the first to know if there is a bonus upload within the next 24 hours. But until next time, and there will be that next time, top guys, we are out. BC! Saying check you. Peace! Yeah! The breast there is, the breast there was, and the breast there ever will be.